On Legendary Tactics, we love giving honest reviews. So today, we'll give you a very balanced review of Expeditions from Stonemaier Games. This is Legendary Tactics.
So I would like to start out just to say that Stonemaier did send us a review copy of this game.
That's right.
Okay, but we always like to give honest reviews and let you know the upsides and the downsides as well. So, Pax, what did you like about Expeditions?
Well, I gotta say, I really love the miniatures in this game. They're awesome. I love that you really get into that Scythe universe. Okay, it's like the visuals are totally what you'd expect from having. If you love Scythe, you're gonna love.
Yeah.
The visuals in this game.
Yeah, the mechs are pretty cool.
They're awesome.
They're pretty.
Yeah.
They are cool.
And you know, the pretty the visual art graphics is great.
Is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a visually
Like
stunning game.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So
that was one. I do enjoy that the different character abilities. It's a bit of asymmetry there, so I do like that part too.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of paths to victory. It was maybe a few more that I would have loved, but there are a lot of different ways to win this game. It's as you would say, maybe a point salad.
Yeah.
Kind of game.
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So how about you, Nato?
I think there's some really neat mechanics, and like a lot of these games, it's just kind of seeing how everything fits together. And how how you have to get to where you want to go.
Right.
And once you played it a little bit, you can kind of see a pathway that you want to follow, and just keeping an eye out for cards that are in the available pool and different actions you can take. I think that there's a lot of, like, if you love a crunchy kind of game, there's a lot to
think on in this game.
Yeah.
I kind of align it to like setting up a series of dominoes, this game, and you have to kind of line up all your dominoes and you have to get them all queued up so that you can flick the first one and everything kind of ping
in an efficient way,
in the best way possible. And so it is a brain burner very much in that respect, I'd say.
Like, I found that this game, now that I played it a bit, I was able to say, okay, I got to be efficient with this card. If I'm going to use this card, I have to do this first. And so if you love that really thinky kind of game, I think you'll like this.
There's stuff to sink your teeth in here.
Yeah. And that said, it's not that complicated. The rules aren't hard.
No.
But it's just the decision space is quite broad, and you can go in a bunch of different directions.
Right. Flash.
Bet yourself.
I would say it comes down to three elements I like: aesthetics, and aesthetics. But I'll say it's three different kinds of aesthetics. Aesthetics, art-wise, I love the artwork on this. It's fabulous.
It is beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Yes.
I love the aesthetics of the components, the how they feel, the mechs, all of that.
The mechs have weight.
The third aesthetic I like is, I mean, if you look at our overhead camera here, it's just a beautiful layout. Like, to me, that pops, and when I look at the game, I want to sit down at the table and say, that looks like a cool game.
Yes.
It looks really neat how the tiles stagger around, how the cards are embedded and integrated into the game. I think that's a really cool feature.
Yes.
And that's all I like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now downsides. Let's start with you, Cax, and we'll finish off with grumpy
old Flash over there. Yeah. So I would say the one thing is one of my beefs is the iconography can be a bit tricky.
Yes.
So you're kind of looking at these different symbols,
right,
wondering,
like the meteorite thing is a purple arrow pointing up.
Right,
yeah.
and it just sometimes takes a bit of thinking on, okay, what are we looking at here? What is it trying to tell us that we're
But if
earning?
you pull out the specs, you can look inside, and there is actually a meteorite there, but it just doesn't look like a meteorite.
Yes. It's not quite as intuitive as I would have liked. So that's one. Another area I would say is just like some of the language and the terminology in this game. They call it guile and power
and might, I think, and then you've got
might.
Vanquish,
or power,
which means you remove these tiles.
Right, and so they just
we call it brains and
meld,
fists.
which you put a slided card
underneath, right? Where you're just kind of building meteorites.
But you know what? They have to work within the vision of the game
and of the Scythe universe.
And they're really trying to get that flavor. What else are you supposed to call it?
Right. So I just feel like you're just kind of learning almost like a
brains and fists.
Yeah. You're learning a parallel kind of language and lingo. To play this game.
But I don't think after a couple, I think you can get it after a couple plays.
Ironically, NATO was the one calling it power or strength brains by the end. You started with guile and you moved into brains. So I thought it was funny. Let's be clear about that one. All right, NATO.
For me, the two downsides are I find that with a lot of these games, I was building up in this last game that we just played through. I built up a lot of cards, and oh my gosh, to think through the variations and the combinations.
Yes.
Especially because the turns can be pretty quick. If it's like move and gather, it's like, okay, taking a card, done.
Yep. Yes.
And it's like, oh my gosh, my turn again, and I'm still reading through the cards, and I'm like, so I found like I was almost felt rushed to make a suboptimal play just to keep the game moving because I'm like.
And I was so incredibly bored on your turn because Cax would just go bang bang and we'd hit your turn and be like, oh dear. And all my turn was to do was refresh. So I'm sitting here waiting, going, all I'm doing is passing essentially for this massive turn as your cards stretch across in front of me.
I mean, I'm not that vulnerable to analysis paralysis, but it can
happen.
If you are a victim of analysis paralysis, then
be careful.
Oh my gosh,
be careful.
Would be because not only these cards change every few turns, so you got to read all the cards again, get another fresh perspective.
Yes.
There's new tiles popping up, and you've got your cards in hand. You've got the special abilities. You've got the worker abilities. It's just
and everything kind of scales. It scales as the game goes. It starts out relatively simple, and then just kind of keeps building in complexity.
I mean, I had like 8 cards, 10 cards in hand, and they all could be played, and it's like, which one is the best move?
Right.
The other thing that I'm not really keen on is the scoring. I feel it was it's very kind of oblique. Like it's very hard to figure out how to get a lot of points.
Right.
Because you score for your items, you score for your quests, you don't score for your meteorites, and you score for the corruption and so forth, but it's there's no direct path to the scoring where I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Some easy connections there.
Why are these worth 2 victory points? I don't know. Like why? There's nothing. It wasn't intuitive.
So it felt a bit arbitrary.
So when the game finished, I'm like, I have no idea who won. I couldn't tell who was ahead.
Which is actually, I think, an intentional design for Wingspan. They like to have 6, 7 different ways of scoring points. So you don't really know, and it feels like even if like you're a newbie like me and you may be way behind, you don't know it. In the middle of the game, you just play your game.
Yeah, but about mid game of the game we've just finished, I looked here. I'm like, I got to get quests done. Just mainly because that was the scoring, not necessarily because that was
and actually, it does actually list it here. Now that I'm looking at it, so look, so there is their information is given.
So I was looking here. I'm like, okay, I want items, I want quests,
and money,
and money if I can get it. But that's a little bit harder to come by, and then I want to get as much of this as I can.
Right.
So. But how does that tie into the meteorites? How does that tie into the cards in hand, workers available? It's, they're all means to an end, but it's not an easy
could be a little ambiguous
through line to figure out how do I win? Like if I start a game, what's my path to victory? It's not entirely clear. And because of the
that's
way
an upside
works.
To a game too, because you don't have it all figured out in the first try.
No, true. But
there's
I feel that, it's... I don't know. That was just kind of my feeling about it, and I mean, I did end up winning, but that was because I looked. Okay, what do I need to do here? And then I started focusing on that. But it didn't feel like that was necessarily thematic, or I wasn't picking a way to win. I was like just ticking some boxes in order to get the win and winning my way.
Yeah.
I guess.
Flash, what about you?
Yeah. Well, I have quite a few downsides to the game, I have to be honest. Number one, I need to tell you, this is not my kind of game. They made me play, which is fine.
We did.
We came in knowing that I don't tend to like this game. However, I liked Apiary. That one was a lot of fun, and there were a lot of similarities in the way you score points and multiplayer solo, all of that. But for me, I felt like when I play games, I want to come together with these lads, and I want to socialize and I want to interact. So a game like Cosmic Encounter where we're bartering and negotiating, and that's what a board game is about to me, and this misses the mark on that for me. Because I just played my own game. I wasn't invested in victory. It's like tunnel vision, right? It is tunnel vision. I never once looked at your board, to be honest. Nate, I looked occasionally only because I was waiting for your turn.
And it was like literally in your periphery.
Right in front of me. But I didn't pay any attention whatsoever, and to me that needs to happen. That's my major criticism.
And if I could just add, sorry to interrupt, but I think it's because you've got so much you're managing on your own board.
That's
You
right.
can barely keep up with what's going on around you.
Cognitive ability to take a look at what Krax is doing and say, I need to catch up here or there.
Or block them. And that'll come with time, and a great strategy game does allow for that kind of play. And I could see people liking it on that for that reason. I don't like some of the elements, like stacking these pieces here makes absolutely no sense, but you have to stack them because you have to defeat them in order. But to me, when I'm looking, so I'm tipping my hand first of all, oh look, Flash is going for that one because he's checking what's it worth. But I might show up and I thought that was a 3. Oh, no.
Now you gotta.
But I mean, if it's like this, and you just have 1, 2, 3, like there's lots of room on these cards.
Well,
you could add,
And you can house rule it.
Yeah.
You can easily just set those like right that, right?
Yeah.
And then
left
have
to
them-
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just a bit of a design flaw to me. I also, the biggest fail on this game for me is that when you said choose your mech, I thought, awesome.
Yeah.
This mech is going to be so cool.
Yeah.
So I chose this guy, and I'm like, okay, how do I shoot you? How do I attack you? How do I? There's no interaction. You pass by each other. It's shadows passing in the night.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's fine, except to me, this is the set piece. When you buy this game, it's like, look at how cool those are.
Yeah.
And you
Now
do
use it.
nothing with them.
Yeah. Now use it.
Zero.
Right.
It had like, sure, you had some
Well, they have a
ability,
special ability, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Your move range. Oh, 1 to 4 locations. See, I'm at the end of the game. I didn't even know that was my power.
yeah,
So
okay,
there was probably a few times I should have used that.
Maybe.
I didn't even notice because I didn't care.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think those major elements for me make it feel like it's just a busy work game, and I think a lot of people will like this game.
Yes.
It's just not for me.
Yeah, I think there is, if you like a certain type of kind of crunchy Euro-y type game,
Yes.
I think this could be really top of your list, actually.
That's right. And I mean, if you want to do some mini painting, like these are going to be
yeah. These
would be
absolutely
really fun.
gorgeous. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another positive. Like there's some really beautiful detail on these. They spend
Yes.
some time, and they feel really solid too.
Yes.
Like even if you have kids, they're probably not going to break these.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
even that
great.
spidery one. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to like, but I think it isn't the game for me.
Now, that said, for me, if someone came to me and said, hey, do you want to play Expeditions? I'd play this again.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. But it wouldn't be my first choice, but I would definitely play along a game.
I preferred Scythe. To me, the area control of Scythe, the personal board development, that feels more like a game I can get into.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily love that they're connected because they just feel so inherently different. I mean, this just feels like an add-on to me. You could like this could be your player piece, and
it wouldn't matter.
No change.
matter.
Yeah,
It wouldn't matter.
So,
The game
looks
could play
cool,
the same.
but you're going to pay for that too, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's good. Well, anyway, that was our review of Expeditions, and we want to thank you for watching. Please leave a like if our insights were valuable to you. And don't forget to get out there.
Get gaming.
be legendary.